How we doing? We're going to be experimenting with a grilled sirloin steak this evening with blue cheese walnut butter. It's also going to get, the steak is going to get rubbed with a salt, pepper, garlic, rosemary paste that we're going to rub on and let it absorb into the steak a little bit. So we'll get started here. Start with some garlic. We want about 6 cloves of garlic. When you're picking garlic, you want it to be nice and firm, solid, paper to be nice and dry, or not very dry. I mean, you know, just you don't want it all crumbly, pretty much. Three, 4, 5. Get 6 big guys in there. I usually do it with garlic. Just take a big frying pan. Those skins out of there. All right. Now I have a one of these magic bullet things here. I'm gonna throw the garlic into. Once again, we got 6 cloves of garlic. We're gonna use about 2 tablespoons of fresh rosemary. Tastes so much better than the dry stuff. If you're using fresh herbs, you want to, and you got a recipe that's calling for dried herbs, you want to put about 2 to 3 times as much in. Like if it was calling for a tablespoon of dry herbs, you want to go with a 2 to 3 tablespoons of fresh herbs. So there's a couple tablespoons right there. And put some salt. About 1½ teaspoons of salt. Alright, probably about 1½ teaspoons of pepper also. And I'm going to add just a little bit of olive oil to it to kind of help grind it up a little more. I'm not sure if I got the right blade on this thing. We'll find out. There we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my sirloin steak here, do a little massage, take about a teaspoon of that paste, mash that right in, get in nice and deep. A little more. All right. Here's our rub for our steak. We're going to leave that for about 20 minutes to a half an hour to sit. All right, what we're going to do now is going to start making our compound butter for the steaks. I'm also experimenting with a new style of cooking the steaks. Most of my steaks I've been playing with lately, and it seems to be working pretty well, and that is to cook it at a low temperature in the oven so it has some time to tenderize the meat, just, you know, knowing that from barbecue, as well as it kind of gets a pink color from corner to corner as opposed to throwing it into a hot pan and going to that medium rare in the middle and kind of overcooking that meat in between. So so we're going to try that. We're going to put the oven on 250. Yeah, we'll go 275. 275, get your oven preheating. And we're gonna for our paste, we're gonna want probably about 2 tablespoons of chopped parsley. I just tried some in this little bullet again, which I kind of think sucks, but I'm just being lazy. As you can see, it does kind of suck, but it works for some things, not for what I'm doing, as usual. That looks like about a couple tablespoons. Now we're going to take about a half a stick of butter. Which you know always means about 3/4. And about 4 ounces of blue cheese. Crumbled blue cheese. This pack right here is 6 ounces, so I don't know, about 2/3 of what's in there. Or most of it. Alright, so we got butter and loads of blue cheese, and we got the parsley in there. We want about 3/4 of a teaspoon, not too much this time, of this fresh rosemary. So I just put a little bit in there. I think this thing works a little better on the fresh rosemary because it's a little drier of an herb than the yeah, that's better. A little drier of an herb than the parsley is. Alright. This heavy cast iron skillet. Put it on a medium-high heat and get glove here and get messy with this. Let's get that nice and mixed up. Try not to break up that blue cheese too much. Alright. For the walnuts, I got some chopped walnuts already, and put in about 1/4 cup. Right about there. That's good. We don't want to get it too fine. Let's bring that right over. Throw it in our cast iron pan. Heating up. And we'll let those toast for a little bit. Alright. We got our, I did put the steak in the oven while you weren't watching. Snaky, huh? And my timer isn't working, but we're going to attempt that anyway. We're going to want to go about 20 minutes on that. I got my walnuts here, my blue cheese butter. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of fold those walnuts into the butter. Beautiful. Now you can refrigerate this and make it the day ahead of time if you'd like. You can wrap it up in some saran wrap, make a little log out of it, and throw it right in the refrigerator. But since we're going to be using it, I kind of wanted it room temperature. It's going to melt a little bit easier on the steak. What I've done now is our steak has been in the oven about 20 minutes. It's at about 95 degrees right now. We got a pan smoking with right about, here's our steak. Doesn't look all that pretty, but we're going to put it in this hot pan. I put olive oil in it just about to the point where it was the olive oil was starting to smoke, and we're going to cook this at probably about a minute and a half to 2 minutes aside. We just want to brown it up a little bit. Alright, we flip the steak over here. We're going to give it another minute, maybe 2 minutes on the other side. Now I just want to take it, get it with your tongs, and you never want to stab it because you'll let any juices that you're trying to keep in there. Kind of give it a brown the sides of this thing. All right. I'm going to pull that off, bring it over to my cutting board, and I'm going to let it rest for about probably 10 minutes or so. While the steak is still resting over here, I'm going to take some olive oil, throw some butter in there. What the olive oil will do is it'll raise the smoking point of the butter. As you can see, it's a little hot, so we'll pull it off from the heat. And I'm going to add some portobello mushrooms. This is going to be the bed for my steak. Bring these back over, get a nice layer going on in the portobellos. I got a couple of cloves of garlic. Yeah, baby. Put that in there. When you're cooking with garlic like that, fresh garlic, you don't want to get too hot because it tends to burn and get a bitter taste. I'm almost wishing I'd put it in a little bit later and let the mushrooms cook down, but it's in there. Nothing we can do about it now. We'll let that cook up a little bit while our steak rests. Alright, our mushrooms are cooking. Garlic and butter and olive oil, salt and pepper. And let's come over to the steak. And although I'm going to slice this, I'm going to put some of that nice butter right on there, just to let it melt down while the steak's nice and hot still. Yeah, boy. Alright, our mushrooms are pretty much done. Nice and browned up. Steak, as you can see, the butter is melted, leaving the parsley and the blue cheese and the walnuts. Let's cut this up here. Kind of slice at an angle. We'll kind of slice at an angle here. Hopefully we're not too overdone. steak. Fan it out some. I'm going to add a little bit more of this on there. There we go. Garnish it with a little fresh herb. See how it tastes. Oh my God. Something else. Out of this world. A little bit of salt. There we have it, our grilled sirloin steaks with blue cheese and walnut butter. Very good. Alright, I'm about halfway through eating my my steak here, and it is absolutely awesome. But one of the things I found as I was eating it is presentation-wise, I like the effect of taking the strip of steak and placing one of the nice fat portobello slices right on top there like that, because I found as though the flavor was just awesome with the portobello mushroom. So, and boy, it is good. I mean, this is a New York strip steak, and you can see that with just the fork, cuts right through nice. So good.